Emma were serious about what the most important question in life might be, and really just challenged us and said, look, there is no greater question that anybody will address in their life than that of whether or not there is a God, and if there is a God, how we stand in relation to him. And so she recognised that I wasn't going to feel comfortable asking her questions about that, and so suggested that I went and asked all my awkward and provocative questions and tried to be as disruptive as I wanted to be on an Alpha course. And I don't know whether anybody here knows about Alpha. Alpha, since then, that was in the late 90s, and Alpha had been running for about 10 years by then. But Alpha it's simply a course that was written by a barrister in a large church in London to help people to explore some of the central truth claims of Christianity in a very structured, logical way. So she sent me off to go and do one of these Alpha courses, and I thought this was great. I thought I wouldn't have to do it because I had just qualified as a doctor. I was on call 1 in 4, and the idea of being able to attend courses, a course once a week over a 10-week period or whatever, I thought was never going to happen. So I could say yes in the comfortable knowledge that I'd never have to honour it. But as it turned out, there was one of these courses running just around the corner, and so I thought, okay, well, I'll go along. And my wife and I went along. We were married by then, so we went along to this. And I was really gunning for these naive Christians, and I thought, well, this is great. This is an opportunity to take people down. I had all the answers really that I thought I needed, and basically made the assumption that my faith in, or to my scientific worldview was all that I needed, and that it was completely incompatible with faith in God. So I went along to this Alpha course, but actually the problem was, over the weeks, I was rather frustrated and embarrassed to discover that the thing that fell apart was not the Christians and what they believed, but actually my objections, and I think my superficial understanding of actually what was behind the truth claims of Christianity fell apart, and I was exposed to what evidence there really is for belief in God, and particularly belief in the central claims of Jesus' life, his death, his teachings, and his resurrection. And as I came to recognise that these things that I had dismissed previously from my primary school memory of what Christianity was about as being just stories, I actually came to recognise they were true, and if they were true, then if I was going to have any integrity about myself at all, I was going to have to start to live as though they were true. So that was a real turning point in my life when I was 25.
Was there anything particular in terms of the truth claims of the Christian faith which clinched the argument for you?
I talked about particularly science and faith in God at lunchtime, and I know some of you might have been there, but the thing that I had assumed was that my scientific sort of endeavour and everything I based my life around up until then was based firmly on evidence, whereas Christianity was, as far as I was aware, something that was faith, and I had a completely mistaken understanding of what that word faith meant. And I assumed that it meant that I had to believe and leave my brain at the door and just believe in complete sort of contrast to or conflict with any evidence there might be. And that's what really sort of I came to discover was completely wrong, because as you look at the historical evidence, as you look at the literary evidence, as you look at the evidence of testimony, as you look at the evidence of in everyday now of the existence of God and God's action in our lives, that comes together, and particularly the historical evidence surrounding the resurrection comes together to make an overwhelming case when you explore it, rather than just treating it at arm's length, keeping it superficially, or keeping it far enough away that it can be easily dismissed. When I explored it, I came to recognise that no,